What is up, you guys? This is the White Rabbit, and welcome back to Yu-Gi-Oh! Master Duel. Let me get a quick sip of coffee before we start today. Now, I'm excited because just when I thought we were done with the Legend of the Star Heroes, we get a third chapter, The Secret Power of the Planet. So, let's see. Let's see what happens. Holy moly. Okay, so that's the main goal. There's a lot of scenarios. There's literally only one duel. I'm happy with this. Okay. There's a lot of story, though. And I love the story for this game. Or this chapter, anyway. The Secret Powers of the Planet. A few years had passed since that nightmare of a tragedy. When Aram awoke, he found that the girl and her brother were no longer with him. Was Ib really gone now? For good? The loss of the girl had its grip over Aram's heart like an unbreakable vice. I couldn't protect Ib. If only I were stronger, then her death could have been avoided. The battle had left a chasm in Aram's heart. Now that Ib was gone, Aram had tasted for the first time just how terrifying a battle could be, and how devastating losing someone you treasured could be. He didn't have the heart to go on with his journey. Not for now. However, there was still one thing on his mind that bothered him. It was Ningirsu. Even now, Aram still had no idea where he had gone. No doubt despair had taken him, now that his beloved sister was no more. And when Aram thought about how Ningirsu must be feeling right now, his heart became fraught with an immovable weight. That was exactly why Aram had to go after his childhood friend. And so, the swordsman resumed his journey with Imdak. It was when panic was beginning to settle in Aram's mind. Was it coincidence? Or did the mech knight that dwelled within him lead him to it? He stumbled across a dormant crawler. It occurred to Aram that this might lead to a clue. He could try and restore it, and see if its communication system still worked. Like, that right there, that is amazing storytelling. And I love a good story, as you've seen with the past games that I play. But this is next level, and I love it. I get a card sleeve for watching this. Man, I love this. Aram succeeded in restoring the crawler and gained access to its communication system, along with a number of records that detailed areas in which the swarms were active, and data on the locations where many crawlers had been destroyed. Perhaps there was still some life left in those areas, and if there was, maybe they would know where Ningirsu had gone. Armed with his new clue, Aram set off to the areas he had gleaned from the records. However, as useful as the information was, it unfortunately didn't make Aram's expedition any easier. There was nary a sign of life to be spotted anywhere, and the journey was looking like it could end in vain. Nature, uncaring and unrelenting, continued to batter the two mercilessly. But at last, a glimmer of hope. At the end of the arduous tunnel, Aram and Imdak had stumbled across the remaining tribes of the planet. Oh, my nose itches. And it's that one spot that's covered by the mask. That of the fiery recluses? Fiery fury. The stalwart beasts. And the sacred lakeside trees. Although this encounter brought no clues as to Ningirsu's whereabouts, Arum and Imduk were blessed with the legends and knowledge of the tribes. And by linking them together, Arum was able to unlock a great secret power of the world and witness the tremendous power that slumbered in its depths. It made him think of the world chalice's power that were bestowed to him. But this was greater, far greater, hiding unbeknownst to the dwellers of the planet. Was this what Lee had sought? Arum thought. Who knows? Who are you? What were the most secrets dwelled beneath the surface? One of them was the rebirth records, inscribed with the history of the planet, chronicles from generations long forgotten. And other, bygone memories of the planet's glorious age where humans ruled from the apex. Long, long ago, there was a god who ruled the skies. With dragonkind and its disciples, it perpetuated I don't know, the cycles of destruction and rebirth to maintain the balance of the realms. However, the scale of the destruction grew bigger each time, and one day the balance of the two was thrown into great disarray. Once this delicate balance toppled, even the sacred skies could not hold back the destruction it wrought. The god decided that it could no longer oversee the skies by itself. With its power of creation, it brought forth layers and layers of the toughest earth and sealed the power of destruction within. With nowhere to go, the powers raged and raged until it boiled and scorched the very earth, morphing it. The torrent of power rushed through the land and merged with the powers of creation, leaking out onto the surface. It became a small manifestation of the cycle of death and rebirth and gave to the lands. With the last of its strength, the god then turned itself into a key and entrusted it to the life blooming on the planet before vanishing. In the years following its disappearance, the power of destruction re-emerged on the surface many times. However, every time it did, the life on the planet would use the key, and with the help of the dragon kind, push it back to whence it came. Over time, the key came to be known as Word, and the power of destruction as the Great Darkness. Thus, the great legend of the world hero was born. Starlit hero, your sword swathed in light, may you triumph over the great darkness. That's good. What do we got next? Hang on, real quick. So, we have 3 more, and then there's 2 more scenarios up here I want to watch. Because if it connects to the story, I'm watching it. Decades, centuries, maybe millennia passed since the beginnings of the rebirth records. The land was now populated with life known as humanity. They were civilizations who had gained scientific knowledge and technological know-how, and were at the height of their prosperity. Their glory came at a cost, for it not only tore the planet's gifts away from it, but also the dragons who protected it. The god and the dragons that once had faded into obscurity as mere tales. And it was during this time that the key was excavated and uncovered. The humans were exhilarated by such a legendary mystical find. Although its authenticity became gradually acknowledged, some expressed worries and doubts at the discovery. What did it mean for the key to have resurfaced in this time? Was this an omen, warning them of an inevitable battle between the world hero and the great darkness, like the legend said? Now that they could see that the key existed in its sword form, did this not also mean that the powers of destruction were indeed sealed deep within the planet's crust? Humanity began to assemble their finest to analyze the key. Within the team they had formed, there was a scientist who has shown her talent in all fields of medicine, astronomy, and archaeology. Her name was Lee. Lee was known all over the world as the foremost authority on computer science. The analysis was able to proceed smoothly thanks to her involvement, and not for long after, the team branded itself as an organization called Crusadia, under the jurisdiction of the Confederation of Nations. Once they had analyzed the key further, they began to draft a plan that would help fight the imminent threats to their planet. It would involve warriors of a mechanical nature, and they called it Project Meknite. Work was to proceed without a moment's delay. Meanwhile, Lee drew up a hypothesis and sought to validate it in secret. She wanted to get to the root of the appearance of the Great Darkness that world hero legend spoke of. Recorded in the legend were multiple tales of the key being used to drive back the Great Darkness by harnessing the powers of creation and destruction. It was a simple enough story. The Great Darkness would appear, and the world hero would fight it back with the key. However, could the reverse also not be true? That using the key was the very thing that drew the Great Darkness out? There were those who were entrusted with a divine mission, and the conspirators who sought to revive the powers of destruction. The world hero legend was ultimately a story of their power struggle over the key. Whoever has the key will control the fate of the world. Or so went Lee's hypothesis, anyway. And the more time she spent trying to validate it, the darker her ambitions grew. The divine powers will be mine. So Lee became evil. Okay, come on, give me more. Oh my god, that is huge. Huge. I think my coffee's getting cold. A few years have now passed since Project Meknite began. And finally, Meknite of the Morning Star was complete. It had been fitted with a core powered by the key and possessed enough power to fight the most deadly of wars. However, an incident occurred during its test run with none other than Lee as its test pilot. With the key, she had reversed all the celestial powers coursing through its mechanical body and diverted them to the planet's core, faster than anyone could make a move. Lee had planned all this out before taking her place as test pilot. The power that had flowed into the planet's core split the lands, and once again, the destruction from within overflowed to the surface, scorching every bit of Earth that it touched. The entire world was beginning to split apart in its unprecedented disaster, and the revival of the Great Darkness drew ever nearer. However, its resurrection was not without its obstacles. The Crusadia had created an assistive unit, 7 Meknites in total. The remaining Meknites faced off against Meknite of the Morning Star and destroyed it, sealing away the Great Darkness back within the Earth once more. But the Great Darkness was, at the end of the day, a divine force, one that the mortals failed to seal away completely. Inspired by the key, the team decided to put their powers into physical vessels of their own and left them on the surface as legacies. World legacies. Now that the lands were ruined and it was getting harder and harder to live in such conditions, it seemed that life on this planet would be gradually snuffed out, including humanity. The reason why the Master of the Key, the world hero, didn't appear in our time of need is because we humans drained the planet of its powers, thought the Crusadia. They began to mobilize to put an end to humanity's so-called glory, as it was the largest obstacle to the revival of the barren lands and the planet's chances at surviving. They left the 7 mechanites they had built in their ruined world after they were programmed with instructions to help rekindle the planet. The mechanites were also installed with data of the Crusadia members they had established a brain link with. Those guys just look awesome. If the lands could be healed once more and the planet could take back the power it once had, then perhaps they could avoid imminent disaster. The Crusadia left all their hopes to a faraway future they may not even reach. However, there was one thing they failed to realize. The mastermind behind this incident was Lee, and she had already been taken by the burning lands. When she was found, she was already dead. But only in flesh. Her soul had been released from its physical vessel, and she had transferred into World Legacy World Chalice her will and knowledge. This is some evil plot, and I am here for it. Oh, the last 2, and then we go through here. The tremendous power that dwelled within the planet was the very thing Lee was after, thought Aram. Suddenly, he was struck by a sense of terror. He could feel a great force of malice that threatened the planet, but from where, he could not tell. Perhaps someone somewhere was beckoning to the darkness, trying to bring it forth. He had to stop them before another terrible disaster happened. And in that moment in Aram's mind, the figure of Ningirsu appeared. The figure of his childhood friend, tormented with sadness from the loss of Ib, seeking darkness in his despair at the world. Although slight, he could feel Ningirsu's presence within the malice. It couldn't be. Aram reined his uneasy heart in. He would need help to stop this malice. He asked the elders of each tribe to lend him their strength, and they answered his pleas with a great number of warriors, and the tribes united in a formidable alliance. They named themselves after the warriors of old that their writing spoke of, and thus the second coming of the Crusadia was born. The Crusadia were taken to a hidden spot by the tribe of the Sacred Trees and activated World Legacy World Crown. Aram and his companions had now obtained power that could help them combat the malice that threatened the world. The Crusadia began their advance towards the giant tower at the center of all the malice. The orchestrated Babel, towering into the sky in its metallic magnificence. Surrounding it were the Orcus mechanical weapons waiting on standby in silent formation. They're all instruments. Orchestra. At the tower base was Ningirsu. An activated World Legacy World Wand was the only thing on his mind. Now that Aram could see his childhood friend, the swordsman could only think about how much sadder he looked. Aram prayed that he was only overthinking the situation, but he knew that their reality was not a kind one. Ningirsu was here because he wanted the powers of darkness, and he was at the center of the malice Aram had felt. That was the truth that awaited him at the end of his long search. But no matter how much time had passed, no matter how things had changed, the one thing that remained the same was that Ningirsu was still his friend. Aram thought about what he could do now that he was here. He had to stop Ningirsu from starting a disaster that could mean the end of the world. The only one who can stop this villainy is me, Aram thought, gathering all his courage. He signals for his companions to mobilize, and now a new battle was about to begin. Ugh! Okay, I'm gonna watch these two, and then we're gonna go into the duel. Ah! Oh, wait. Okay, so yeah, we had to read this. It gives us the villain story, I think. Ningirsu's sorrow. Ooh, I love it. When Ningirsu saw what had happened, a bolt of guilt pierced through his grief. Even in his desperation, he'd never imagined this would happen. His eyes could hardly believe what they were seeing. How did all this happen so fast? He prayed that he was dreaming, and that he was going to wake soon. All he wanted was to see his dear sister again. As the scene of another nightmare unfurled around him, he became embroiled in a storm of emotions. I need to save Ib. Even as his mind was numbed with stupor, Ningirsu's body began to move without command. In what looked like an impulsive choice, he struck his childhood friend unconscious, taking both the other man's sword and Ib. What good was this world if Ib were not in it? He would do anything, be it good or evil, if it meant that he could see her smile again. That single thought of getting his sister back was all Ningirsu needed to force his weary limbs forward. He had the Mekhnite cores from when the 6 nightmares were defeated. Now he also had the sword he took from Aram. Using the facilities that were still present in the Mekhnite headquarters, he analyzed the artifacts with feverish desperation. The world possessed with mystical powers similar to that of the world legacy, and if anything had a clue regarding its specifics, it would be the Mekhnites. They might even have a way to bring it back. Although he was unable to glean a way to resurrect Ib, he learned a great deal about a number of facilities from the ancient civilizations. Ningirsu left the Mekhnite headquarters and set off to each one of them with the lifeless body of his sister in tow. Many of the facilities he visited had already ceased to work, and the ones that barely did provided little to no useful information. However, Ningirsu never gave up. There must be a way he could save Ib somehow. With that unwavering belief in his heart, he resumed his grueling journey. And finally, at long last, he discovered an ancient facility that was still in working condition. Come on, man. You can't do that to me. You can't present him as a villain and then expect me to care. It's not fair. Okay, so these other duels I'm not going to do. I just need to get to the goal. Man. After countless weary roads walked, Ningirsu had gone through more information than any average man would in his life. He had thoroughly inspected the Mekhnite cores in several ancient facilities. With what he had gathered, including files on the key and technologies thought to be long lost, he had finally unlocked the secrets hidden within the planet. And the truths of the world that had been shrouded in mystery, Ningirsu trembled with joy. He could revive his sister now. With this newfound certainty, Ningirsu set about creating a vessel that could house Ib's soul using the ancient technologies. However, this task was to be the most difficult yet. Trial after trial resulted in countless failures and their byproducts. And as the days ticked by, he had amassed enough vessels to create his own army. But at last, his efforts paid off. He had finally created a mechanical doll that would work. By synchronizing the doll with the body of his dead sister, he also succeeded in reinitializing the functions of one of the twin swords vital to his plan. So much time had been poured into this endeavor, but at least there was something to show for it. A strange sense of elation began to bubble within Ningirsu. His sister had given her life for this world. Now it was time for him to create a new world for her. Now that Ningirsu had the mechanical doll's power, the second step of the plan to build orchestrated Babel could finally begin. Come on, man. This is beyond anything. What, do I have to learn how to use the Crusadias? I'm going second. Oh, goody. Alright, what do we got? What makes a Crusadia deck unique? This deck can allow you to link summon multiple times, especially when used in tandem with monsters whose effects let you special summon to a zone that a link arrow is pointing to. Use this to your advantage and summon even more powerful link monsters to your field. Crusadia link monsters also gain a helpful boost in attack from monsters that they point to. Bolster your attack by summoning your more powerful monsters to zones that your Crusadia link monsters are pointing to when you're up against an especially tough opponent. Okay. We're both at 4,500, so I'm guessing I have to summon a 4,500 attack point monster. Whoa. Link summon Crusadia Equimax and win the duel during this turn. First normal summon Crusadia Reclusia and use it as a link material to link summon Crusadia Magus. Okay. So first normal summon you. Then Crusadia Magus. Okay. Select position. Okay. Next step, special summon Crusadia Linus and activate the effect of Crusadia Magus. Okay. Special summon this card from your hand in defense mode to your zone a link monster points to. Wow. Okay. Yes, use his effect. What does he do? Select a card to add from your deck to hand. Okay. Okay. Ooh. So now that's a 2. And you have 1 as well, so I can summon either one of these. Okay. I can't special summon on that side, so... Special summon Crusadia Maximus and activate the effect of Crusadia Regulix. Huh, I thought it was Regulus. But that's 5Ds, I guess. Yes, Regulix. All Crusadia Link monsters in the field gain 500 attack. Ooh. Okay. And then Link for 3 with to summon Equimax. Okay. That counts as 2. Summon you, then I can special summon you and activate Crusadia Revival. Cool. Raise the attack of Crusadia Equimax. Activate Crusadia Revival. Okay. And then can't I special summon this? Special summon World Legacy, World Crown. Did I have to do it in that order? Wait, in defense mode. That's less. Oh, attack your opponent directly. Hang on. Why did that raise? When a monster on the field special, you can, and if you get an attack equal to the combined original attack of all monsters this card points to. Wow. That is interesting. So if I'm able to, just in theory. Oh, dang it. I should have clicked the graveyard first. If I'm able to, I should get the highest World Legacy card I have, plus another Link monster. Oh, wait, no, I only have the 3. Dang. Okay, so I need to get him out on the field as quickly as possible, because I only have 3, yeah? No, I have 12. Okay. I have somewhat of a plan. So I'm going to start with this. You know what? I'll start with this. Summon you. Hit you. Okay. Special summon you. Activate. And I will get you. Okay, then go for 2. Do the same exact strategy. Just, I may mess up with the different cards. Beautiful. Then I can special summon you. Activate. I already have that. What's this? Target one Crusadia monster you control. That Crusadia monster is unaffected by card effects this turn, except its own. Yes. Okay. Special summon. We are gonna go for you. Okay. Get you. Beautiful. You can special summon this hand to what zone a Link monster points to. Why can I not special summon you? That makes no sense to me. But I'll throw this face down. I don't know. End turn. Okay, so I have him out. I then can special summon, or not special summon, I can summon Crusadia Maximus. What's this? Your opponent normal summons or special summons, except during the damage step, you take 1 Orchestra from your hand and deck and either send it to the grave or banish it. That doesn't sound good. Okay. So I need to start special summoning. Who has the bigger attack? You. So special summon you. 4100. What does this guy do? Gain it once per turn. You contribute 1 Crusadia monster, then target 1 face-up card on the field. No, I'm good. Hang on. What do you do? This card is sent to the graveyard. Okay. Ugh. Yeah, I'm gonna have to activate it. Discard you. Destroy you. Why did that not work? Okay. Special summon you in defense mode, putting... What do you do? If this card was... add it to your hand. Yes. And then can I special summon it? Is the question that becomes me. Come here. Summon here. Beautiful. Then what's your effect? You can target one Crusadia Link monster you control. If it battles an opponent's monster, any battle damage it inflicts to your opponent is doubled. Also, other monsters you control cannot attack. Okay, what do you do? Once per turn, you can target one Crusadia Link monster you control. This turn, it can attack all monsters your opponent control once. Okay. Send one monster from your deck to the grave. Activate. No. Okay, I have to play this smart. Yes. Send you to the grave. Okay. Have its attack damage doubled. Okay. Then have you attack. What's this? Okay. Activate. Oh, he just messed up. Oh, it's unaffected by card effects except its own. Okay, so it may have not doubled the damage, but it did something. No. No, I'm good. Draw? Okay. Okay. I'm gonna summon you for the sole reason to activate you. Oh, it has to be one that it points to. Okay. And destroy you. Does this work this time? Nope. Oh. Negate it. That's right. Okay. I'm just gonna attack. Beautiful. Beautiful. That actually went a lot better than I thought it would. Yeah, I'm not level 9. Yeah, I'm just using the story stuff. That's fine. Alright. Oh, I hope there's a part 4 at some point. The Crusadia headed towards where Ningirsu was. However, before they could reach him, they had to get past the countless Orcist weaponry. The Orcist were merciless as they were numerous, and the Crusadia suffered greatly as they tried to fight their way through. In the heat of battle, Orm began to feel that within orchestrated Babel, there dwelled a power similar to that of his key. The mechanical vessels used whatever little of the key's power they had inherited in activated orchestrated Babel. From the depths of the tower, a great light was released, and the tower itself seemed to almost fall away with it as the beam stretched into the sky above. No, the activation must be stopped, Orm thought as he dashed toward the machinery. However, before he could move any further, Ningirsu appeared before him. It was the first time they had seen each other since the tragedy long ago. Their eyes met within the chaos of the battle. Orm opened his mouth to speak. Why? He asked. Would you want anything to do with the great darkness? Why put our planet under threat like this? Why did you create the spiraling tower and this army of mechanical weapons? Ningirsu had only one simple answer for him. For Ib. It was the only reason he needed. For his sister, he was willing to activate Babel, to strike the World Legacy World 1 down from the skies and break the Earth's surface, so he could awaken the slumbering World Legacy World Arc and use its influence over life and death to revive Ib's soul. Then, after the great darkness had been freed from within the Earth, he was going to use its power to resurrect Ib as a celestial being. Now that he had heard the truth from Ningirsu, Aram readied his sword and knew that he had to stop this at all costs. Ningirsu didn't budge and instead swung his lance in return. No one was going to stand in his way, not even Aram. The swordsman knew that Ningirsu loved Ib more than anyone in the world, but that did not make it right for him to put their entire planet in danger like this. Aram knew that Ib would not want this, even if it meant that she could live once more. However, for Ningirsu, there was nothing he wanted more than to see his sister open her eyes again. And if it meant that he had to turn against the entire world, then so be it. Both men had already made their minds up on what they wanted to achieve. Neither wanted to budge, and so they clashed, but neither could gain a decisive advantage. The orchestrated babble activated, and at last, the world wand had been toppled. When it fell to the earth, it gored the land below, and the resulting shockwave reverberated across the entire planet. Aw, come on. Oh, but that means there's going to be a 4th chapter. Ooh. Yes, go to the store. I don't have 1,000, but I can open 5 single packs, which I will be happy with. Utopia! So, I'm really happy with how they're doing these stories. And I am here for the ride. For all these stories. The emotional ride these stories are going to have on me. I don't know what else. Oh, the Melodious Diva. I don't know what else to say other than these stories are amazing. And I really wish they had done something like this sooner. But I guess I can slightly understand why they didn't. I mean, come on. Lib? Huh. Maybe some star-studded futures. What does that mean? Hang on. Super rare. Is it a holo? I don't know. I don't know. It's shiny. I know that. But, where was I? I forgot. But these cards, or not cards, these stories are getting to me immensely, and I don't know why. Like, yeah, it's about sacrifice, and the brother doing everything in his power to try and resurrect his sister, and then Aram, who I believe had a crush on Ib, knows that, yeah, it may be forever before he sees Ib again, but he knows that putting the world at stake is not worth seeing her again. And he knows that she would absolutely hate the fact that her brother is willing to destroy the world she risked her life to protect, that she gave her life to protect. So it's one of those things of, yeah, I understand where Ningirsu is going. I understand where he's coming from. But at the same time, Longirsu, the orchestrator. So, it's one of those things. He is hurt so badly, and he doesn't even care if anything happens to the rest of the world or to himself. But his friend does. And in order to stop him from making a mistake, he has to fight his friend. Man. I cannot wait for chapter 4 of that story. That is the story I'm most invested in. All the stories are great. That's the one I'm most invested in because it has the most draw and it has, honestly, the most chapters. But that's all I have for right now. So thank you guys so much for watching this one. If you liked it, you know what to do. Keep things crazy, and I'll see you guys in the next one.